Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another sort of Convallaria video, and today we're going to have what I think is a fairly important discussion about gacha game Burnout, the pacing at which gacha games release content, if you should feel guilty about feeling the way that you do. We're going to do a little psychology stuff today. Now, I have been taking a bit of a break from this game. Been playing a lot of Metaphor ReFantazio. Highly recommend that game if you haven't played it yet. Definitely my game of the year so far. But as that kind of winds down for me, as I'm returning to playing sort of Convallaria at least a little bit more hardcore again, I wanted to address some things that have been going around the Reddit community, some things I've been seeing in my Discords, and that nature. Now, let's start by just looking at the current state of the game. Now, I realize you can't see what's behind my picture right here, which is a bit of my mistake, but let me just do some counting for you, even though you can't see it. There's right now 5 different events going on right now that aren't Spiral of Destinies and new chapters. So 5 events currently going on in sort of Convallaria. That's a lot of events. And one of the things that I've seen, as I check in on the Reddit kind of every day and stuff like that, is posts like these. And I think you will find these posts funny. One post is titled, "There isn't enough to do," like in quotation marks, and it shows, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, whatever her name is in real life, eating all of the events that are currently going on. Then there's literally another post with the same picture that says, "Goodbye, sort of Convallaria. The world build / story is fantastic." I agree. Early stage of this game is fun. Check. I also agree with that. But gacha or event aspect is terrible. The time to fun rewarding ratio just wasn't on point. Most event cost stamina or a large amount of time to clear, with some other limited character gatekeeping sometimes. I know it's sort of pointless posting a feedback or post like this, blah, 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 blah. But I do want to voice my opinion. I love the story, but the game is overly stingy and lately unfun for me, and I've decided to move on. Cheers, mate, with the exact same meme. Now, I want to address this a little bit because I want to just say, games are meant to be fun. And I will stress this over and over again. And especially as a content creator, I have to run this through my head all the time. I just quit playing War of the Visions, a game I covered on this YouTube channel for 3 years. My YouTube career began with War of the Visions. It was very hard for me to step away. There was definitely guilt. But once the game became unfun for me, even with a financial incentive for me to keep playing, I needed to step away. Do not let gaming become bad for you. Don't let a hobby be ruined, and never feel guilty for quitting any game. This is an RPG, and to this point, it's really been a single player RPG. Sure, some of the events require you to do stuff with your guild, like unlock a code, and there is some PvP, but for the most part, you play sort of Convallaria to enjoy the story of the game. Now, if you're like me or other gacha creator or gacha players out there, and you like collecting the characters, pushing that hard extra content, that's great, and that's a reason to stick around, but you don't have to play all of the time. And in fact, when you're dealing with a situation like we're dealing with now, where there's all of these events to go through, it can be very overwhelming, and I highly recommend taking breaks from a game like this. One of the beauties is when you come back, I haven't been playing this game hardcore for some time, there's new story for me to experience in Spiral of Destinies. So I'm ready for a fresh playthrough of Spiral of Destinies with new story. That is something that at some point I will want to experience. There's more Fool's Journey for me to push. That will be fun for me. I haven't even cleared everything in the Crossing worlds yet. And I kind of picked a bad time to take a break, honestly, because events like this one, where you're just getting extra drops, A+. It's a great event. In fact, my favorite kind of events are the events where you don't have to go hardcore. And this game, in my opinion, has done a pretty good job of releasing events where if you want to try hard, there's an event there for you. Or if you just want to log on every day, like the one where you did the Coco's little puzzle game where you just had to roll the dice 5 or 6 times a day, that was fantastic. There were rewards. It was really easy. That's very friendly for new players. And in my opinion, this game has done a pretty good job of releasing content both for veteran players who are looking for a challenge and for new players who just want a few extra resources. Guys, gacha companies are stingy as hell. They want to incentivize you to spend money. If you understand that that's where you're coming from, you will never be caught by surprise when you get to a point in a game where you're like, shit, this is kind of hard. I really could use some more leveling essence. How do I get that? Oh, it costs money? Well, let me open up my wallet. If that ain't in your budget, just don't do it. And you can, like, I highly recommend, I think the point of that is I highly recommend doing what I just did and what I've done for a few weeks now, where if a new character came out, hey, I had the resources to go pull it thanks to the content creator program that I got kicked out of. So I would go pull for the new character, level them up, kind of talk about them a little bit, be excited about them, but be excited for them in the future. And I'm going to be able to have a lot of enjoyment on my second or third playthrough of the Spiral of Destiny. For one, I can do a themed playthrough where I bring in maybe just some Union characters or just some Empire characters or something like that and play it through in that way. In fact, I would really like to bring, I don't know, I think I'm going to bring, like, looking at my roster, and I was just thinking about this the other day, and this is the kind of stuff that gets me excited. Like, maybe I bring in characters that I don't use much in the regular game, like, you know, like Enforcer. I use Crimson Falcon quite a bit, but, like, you know, some of these type of characters, like a Night Raven, that I didn't get much use of in the gacha side of the game, and I could play, you know, do a playthrough where I play as Iria, and I just kind of lean into like RPing as them from the beginning. That seems kind of fun. And with new content to experience, that's wonderful. At its core, this is a free-to-play single-player RPG. It's a tactical RPG, which there's not enough of in the world. And I don't want people's burnout to demean that experience for, you know, everybody else. And I don't want people who are bored with the game to feel bad about quitting. And then if you quit, don't feel guilty about coming back. Like, I know at least in my community, we're always welcoming to returning players. Heck, the amount of people that watch my videos are like, hey, you know, been out of War of the Visions or whatever for a while. Thanks for the content and all that. I'm like, yeah, welcome back. Like, this game and War of the Visions have both had very good communities in terms of welcoming in new players and returning players, and that's awesome. Something else I saw was this post right here. It said, having events stacking at a fast pace while simultaneously being difficult is burning me out a bit. Don't burn out. If you're starting to feel burnt out, miss it. Just miss it. Sure, are you going to miss out on some currency? Yes. Will that like hurt you as a free-to-play player? Maybe, but it won't hurt nearly as bad. In terms of like enjoying the game, it won't hurt you nearly as bad as burning yourself all the way out and never playing again. So if you're feeling burnout, just drop the game. And then I wanted to address this. This topic deserves its own video for sure, but there was a new tier list from Dotato out. I'm not going to comment on like the placement of characters in this tier list, right? Like the OP here has a lot to say about that. I just want to comment on the amount of characters that we're getting in this game and if that is good, bad, appropriate, or not appropriate. So look, characters that I've never even heard of before, or I'm sorry, characters that I've never seen on a tier list before. Tristan, Tayer, Kvare right here. I'm not even saying their names right. Like there's new Sophia costume. Pamina's new to me. Agata's new to me. I think I've seen Homa on a tier list before. There's different Rawia, who on other tier lists I've seen very high. Kaya's right here. Layla, Luvita. Like Luvita, by the way, A+ design. I love myself a witch looking character. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of more characters coming out. And a complaint that I've seen about this game is the raw amount of units that are coming out. Now, having previously been a part of the content creator program, it really has not been hard for me to just go after whatever I want. Now that I'm not in that anymore, I am starting to pace myself on pulls a little bit, letting the units that I don't have just kind of come to me over time, pulling for the new stuff. Is I went off topic. Is the pace too fast, right? Are we getting our new friends at a clip that is unsustainable? Maybe, yes. But I want to say that I ultimately, look at this gimp. What am I doing? Why? I don't know. We'll comment on my level 1 weapon for Sophia later. Like I said, been on a bit of a break. I'm for the idea of the global version of the game catching up somewhat to the TW version of the game. I think that's good long term. I actually wish we would catch all the way up. I like new content being a surprise. I don't like having the preview. Now, I will spend money, and so maybe that distorts my vision of that a little bit. And I know for lots of folks who, especially free-to-play players, they enjoy having that preview and seeing like what's meta and what's not meta. But either way, the pace of release has been too fast for some people's taste. Yeah, it has. Like I said, that's a big topic. It probably deserves its whole nother video. Personally, I'm used to this pace. This is what I experienced with other gacha games, and I don't think they're like off from that. And overall, I've just been pretty happy with the amount of events that have coming out, even if I've been skipping them, because I would rather have access to new things, even if I can't play them or afford them, than have the ability, have time to play and resources to spend and nothing to use those times and resources on. I think more is better than less. I guess that's what I'm saying. I've definitely played games in the past. Echoes of Mana comes to mind, where I was just sort of like, man, really kind of like this game, wailed, have the characters, just kind of looking for some content to do. I wish the devs for that game had been as active at releasing content as the sort of Convallaria creators are. So there we go. That's kind of my 2 cents on all of that. I'm definitely going to keep playing and covering sort of Convallaria. Quitting did cross my mind for a second as I was enjoying some other games, but then I just looked at it. I started browsing the Reddit and things, and I was like, no, I'm excited to play again. And as long as I have that desire, I'll stay here. Creating content every day for the game will, 1, require me to catch up on the things I'm behind on. Might do some content on that catch-up process. And 2, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what 2 is. Something. I had a thought in my head. I forgot it. Anyway, thank y'all. Be creative. Yeah, be creative. Sure. Whatever. Have a good day, everybody. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.